What's going on, y'all? This is a no spoiler review for Fallout Season 2. Let's get it. The biggest question people want to ask is Season 2 better than Season 1? I will say no, for me personally. Okay? I think Season 1 is stronger from a narrative standpoint. I think it's more consistent, and I think they utilize the characters better. For this season, they focus on the ghoul quite a bit, and they give Walter Goggins amazing material to act with. And I think when they focus on his character, this show is better than season one. When it comes to the other characters, it doesn't hold up. There's a bunch of stuff that happens in the vault this season, or like they try to push in and make you care about. It just is not interesting. Anytime they have something to do with Lucy's vault, I just didn't care. It was interesting. I think people want to forget a lot about people won't forget about a lot of these characters. These characters are very forgettable, in my opinion. It, it just feels like you didn't need to sprinkle them in as much as you needed to. I feel like you could put them in the last like 2, 3 episodes, and it would have been fine. I would have gotten everything I needed to get. It would have been cool. Before we talk about Lucy, let's talk about Maximus. Maximus' character was kind of disappointing this season to me because it felt like he just went through a bunch of stuff this season and kind of ended up in a way that it wasn't satisfying. Like he had a really cool he had an episode that was really cool. No, he had like 2 episodes that were really sick, really cool, and I think it did something for his character. But I just think the Brotherhood, how we left off in season one, I feel like season two could have left him there a little longer. I feel like, if not carry him over to the next season, I just feel like he was on a journey there that felt really disjointed, had characters that just didn't sit well with me. It just felt kind of rushed, and it felt really lackluster. When it comes to Lucy's character, I feel like I feel like a lot of the gimmicks they did season one for a character, they repeated in season two. Whereas in season one, I felt like it was like a fish out of water situation, and there's a lot more room for comedy or dark humor in season one. Where in season two, I just feel like season two, I just feel like it was the same character. That, don't get me wrong, there's a change and development in her character, but it just didn't feel that much different from season one. I feel like they really underutilized Lucy as a character this season. And don't get me wrong, she has emotional moments and all these things, but it was hard to care as much as as much as they were counting on us caring, as much as they were trying to get us to care. It just it didn't. It felt really pale in comparison to Ghoul's story this season. Like it felt like Lucy took a backseat in her own story, whereas Ghoul took the forefront, which isn't necessary. I mean, I really enjoyed his story this season, so for me, it's a plus. But as a whole for this season, it's not. It's very disappointing, and it led to some very boring moments for Lucy. I'm not gonna lie, and the dynamic between Lucy and Ghoul, I don't get how the internet likes this. I just don't think they're fun together. I think it wore off after season one for me. Season two, it kind of got on my nerves how they interacted with one another. Like, it, what I would have liked is if they had a much more philosophical debate with Lucy's ideals and morals versus what the ghouls are and what his past self was, and they tried to kind of do that this season, but it just didn't stick the landing. It didn't feel like it was written very well for that, and it feels like they tried and then gave up trying to do that and just like pushed it on the rug and just kept it moving. Um, and maybe people won't feel that way, but this is how I felt about these characters in this season. I just felt like the writing just wasn't strong in a lot of spots. It felt like they really didn't know how they wanted to approach this season or attack it. And don't get me wrong, this season kind of came pretty fast for a streaming show. Um, but yeah, yeah, I'm not saying they need 4 years to write a season, but I just feel like this wasn't a fully cooked idea. I feel like there was so much left on the table. And yes, could they do that for the next season? Sure, but I'm not worried about next season. People, I may not like. I liked it enough to watch next season, but if you don't succeed this season, you don't make this season interesting. People are not gonna want to tune in for next season. And I just feel like where this season ended, like I said, the season ended where it's like, bro, give me a cool spinoff. Give me that. I'd much rather watch whatever he's doing, whatever he's doing, than a lot of these other characters. To be honest with you, again, Maximus is a cool character, and he had a really sick moment, but I just feel like it didn't do his character justice this season, man. I felt like his character could have taken a real, it could have been really impactful, and it could have been really beautiful, and I just don't see it being that. It just didn't make me feel that way, I guess. And if someone wants to argue with that, I'm fine with it. Like, if you feel like they did do him justice, I wouldn't be mad at it, because it's not like they did a horrible job. It just, I feel like they could have took another step, right? They could have really leveled up this season with a lot of the writing and a lot of the direction and character development for a lot of these characters, and it just feels like they didn't. It feels like this was like if there was a spin-off series just for Ghoul, it feels like that. It feels like this was his series, and Lucy, Maximus, and these other characters were like cameo appearances. That's what it felt like. But that's how strong of a performance Walton Goggins did. That's how strong of a story they put for Ghoul. Lucy's brother, I'm forgetting his name. I liked his story, but it just felt so sandwiched in with everything else that's going on that it also felt really half cooked, and it felt really loony at some points. And it just didn't feel it just felt like it didn't fit. And I feel like I feel like if you take some time away from like the vault stuff that was going on that people probably forgot half the characters names for, and you gave that screen time to add more to Lucy's brother's situation, that could have developed a lot more. I felt like that was more interesting. That was going to the vault. Um, yeah, there was a lot that in this season I just felt like was half cooked. Wasn't really. It was kind of underwhelming, but overall, it was still an enjoyable season. It still had some really cool fight scenes. Maximus still had some really cool scenes, some really cool almost introspective, but like scenes where it's like scenes where I felt like, oh yeah, this is why I love this character in season one, right? And Ella Pennell did her thing as Lucy. I think Lucy was cool, but I just felt like Lucy took a back seat this season. I felt like Maximus and Ghoul had way more interesting things going on, and just had just more better material written for them and better direction for their characters than Lucy. I really hope in the next season they give Lucy a way stronger character and really let her like a lot of the gimmicks. Do not repeat the same gimmicks in the third season. Like they've got to shake it up with her character. I think is holding her character back. With that being said, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm going to stop it right there. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Again, a lot of disappointment this season, but I still think it's worth to watch. I still think there's amazing moments in the season that make it worth it. And again, if nothing else, give me that Ghoul spinoff, baby. Give me the spinoff. See you on the next one. Keep geeking out. Almost messed up the outro. Keep geeking out. Peace.